Hey folks, it's Eddie Lazzari with Educated Veteran. A little bit later today than normal. I'm going through and I'm seeing a lot of people updating their LinkedIn profiles, which isn't a bad idea to do a monthly or quarterly review. I wouldn't recommend doing an annual review. That's a little bit too much of a gap when you're reviewing your personal profile. You want to keep your information as current as possible. So this came in from Rick in one of the networking groups that said, I recently updated my LinkedIn profile. Does anyone have any input that they'd like to share? And of course, there was a lot of responses. People talked about his profile picture, which I've already covered, and some other things. What I would like to briefly talk about today is the difference between your responsibilities and your accomplishments. That's the title of this video, responsibilities versus accomplishments. And a lot of people get these confused. They think they're one and the same. And they're very, very different. And this not only goes for your LinkedIn profile, but this also applies on your resume. So, your responsibilities. Most people do a really, really good job of listing out their responsibilities. And it almost sounds like a job description. If you were to pluck or peel that out of a LinkedIn profile and plaster that onto a job description of some a job that's on Indeed or Monster or whatever, that's exactly what it's going to sound like, just a list of responsibilities. So people get in the habit of listing their responsibilities, and they don't do as good a job listing out their actual accomplishments. So it's easy to point out the difference by asking yourself two questions. When you're talking about your responsibilities, the question is what I did or what I do. So if you're going down and you can answer that question, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You're filling out responsibilities. If you change that question a little bit and you change it to how well do I do that, then now you're getting into accomplishments. So as you're going through, write your whatever you want to write down, but then ask yourself, does that describe how well you did that? If it doesn't describe how well you do what you do, then it's nothing more than a responsibility. I've got 3 examples here I'd like to read. Here's the first one. Maintaining a budget. A lot of people put that on their resume. A lot of people have budgets. They're expected to maintain them. That's a responsibility. That's what you're responsible for doing. That's your job. Question is, does everybody always maintain their budget? Nope. Some people do, some people don't. Question is, how well did you? So, if you were to change I'm maintaining a budget to reduced budgetary spend by 6% over 12 months, that describes how well you actually, it not only tells the reader that you actually maintained a budget, but it gives them a sense of how well you maintained that budget. Reduced budgetary spend by 6% in 12 months. How much did you reduce your spend, and in what period of time? It's not as accurate, well, let's say it's accurate, but it's not as a clear picture if you just say, I reduced budgetary spend by 6%. Over what? 20 years? Right? I mean, the market fluctuates at a rate of about 3% annually, so 6% over 10 years is probably not that fantastic, right? So if you reduce your spend by 6% over a 12-month period, that's not bad. Here's another one. Managed 7 direct reports. If you're a manager or supervisor, you probably have direct reports. That's your job. Your job is to manage them. But that's just a responsibility. Here's a little bit different. Mentored 7 direct reports, 3 advanced in company via promotion, 4 were recognized by department director for exceeding goals. Now, do you need to get into what the goals were and how well they were exceeded? I guess you could, but that mentored 7 direct reports, 3 advanced through a company promotion, 4 were recognized by a department director for exceeding goals, says a hell of a lot more to the reader than managed 7 direct reports. You get the idea? Here's the last one. Improve customer relations. I think everybody's in the business of improving customer relations in some form or fashion, regardless of what department you are in whichever industry. It could be B2B, it could be B2C, doesn't really matter. It's really about making sure that we're maintaining customer relations. But folks, that's our responsibility. That's just what we are supposed to do. That's our job. That's what we do. Now let's get into how well we did that. Retained 100% of customers over 12 months, 62% renewed service level agreements ahead of contract. So that's saying that you not only are improving customer relations, but there's some quantitative values there to describe how well you're actually maintaining those customer relations. So those are 3 very quick examples. I made them up. I didn't pull them off of anybody's profile or off of anybody's resume. I just seriously made it all up, all right? But it clearly delineates for you the differences between your responsibilities versus your accomplishments. So if you focus on filling out your LinkedIn profile or your resume, concentrating on your accomplishments versus just your responsibilities, that makes for a much, much better read, and you become a much more valued candidate for a potential position. I hope that's helpful. This is Eddie Lazzari helping you become an educated veteran.